Man, look at here. Just to get you happy on out on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm your host, Ricky C. Simmons. I got my boy back in here with me, man. Carter been gone. I thought I was going to put an APB out on him because he has just disappeared, man. But I got a text today. He told me he was back in the studio, so I'm excited to have you back, Carter. How's everything going, man?
It's good to be back. Yeah, I had a nice little break, went home for a little bit, but excited to be back in studio.
So where'd you go, man? Because you disappeared on me for a little while.
Yeah, so I live in North Dakota. That's where I'm from originally.
Okay.
So I just all the athlete shows had time off for the Christmas break.
Yeah.
So I just asked Mark and DP if it was all right if I headed out for a little bit too, just to go home, see some family, stuff like that. So
okay, everything good?
Yeah, everything's going good. Yep. Went skiing there over break as well, so that was a good time. Yeah, so yeah.
Well, hey, look here, man. I'm happy that you're back. Now you say you might be going again one more time on me.
One more time, yeah. Maybe next weekend I might have to head out one more time, but then I'm just gonna be gone for that weekend, and then I'll be back for good.
Okay, man, because I'm gonna hold you to that. See, you done said it on air, so I got witnesses, man. You can't be disappearing on me.
All right, I won't.
Well, welcome everybody, man. I just want y'all to know that this has been a great weekend for me, and I would like to take a few minutes to show or at least tell you about it. Yesterday was a very, very, very interesting day. We had a Husker event at 88 Tactical up in Omaha. And quite a few well-known former Huskers, and actually Coach Osborne as well, showed up, for the event. And we had Johnny Rogers there. We had Mike Rozier was there. We had Odious Lee. Man, we had Eric Crouch showed up. I mean, we had a lot of people there, man, and it was very, very, it was a very good time. And then we watched the documentary, my documentary that we did a private screening. The name of my documentary is Look Like Somebody, man, and it went over really well. People really received it, so that was interesting, and I really had a good time. And when we left there, then we came back to Lincoln, and they had the Remington Award. And man, a lot of people there, and it really kind of put stuff in perspective for me too, because I was like at that Remington Award, I was looking around, man. I'm like, man, life is precious, and some people that were there last year are not here this year. So it really kind of put things in perspective. But I had a really, really good time over the weekend. So got to spend a lot of time with one of my closest friends from my playing days is Mr. Mike Rozier. That dude there is very entertaining. He's never dull when you're with him. So then we actually met this morning for breakfast, and he had to catch a flight back out, I think, about 1:55 today. So it was really cool, man. I had a good time. I do want to talk before we have a guest tonight, actually, too, but before we bring him in, I'd like to talk a little bit about being grateful. A lot of us, and I include myself in this as well, sometimes we take things for granted. And I don't think taking things for granted is very smart. Be appreciative of what you have versus complaining about what you don't have. I think that's a big deal for a lot of people in society today. We all got a list that's a mile long of what we wish we had or what we think we need in order to be happy. On the other hand, I have things I would love to have, but I spend a lot more time focusing on the things that I do have and being thankful for those. I think that's very important, and I'd like for everybody to just think about it. You don't have to agree with it. Just think about it. I think it's very important. But having fun, that's kind of the name of this show. Get your happy on hour. I mean, that's basically what I'm all about. I mean, I love to focus on happiness and positive. To me, that does it for me, Carter. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I just think that that's important. A lot of people, they argue that and they challenge that, and they like, well, how can every day be another day in paradise? Well, it's between my ears. I'm not saying everything is perfect. I'm just appreciative and I'm grateful. And the humility in my life now makes me appreciate. But then, too, I think it's easier for me to be appreciative than most people because I can always look back at where I've been.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, some people they haven't had some of the trials and tribulations that I've had to endure. And those things have made me stronger as a person. It has made me more humble and made me more appreciative. But I was just thinking, man, when you was telling me about your traveling, I just want you to understand something. This 93.7, the ticket family, we're a very unique group.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want you to know, with all your traveling, man, just be safe.
Oh yeah, always.
I mean, you youngsters, I done seen y'all in action. Y'all are very good at multitasking. Just be careful, man. That's all. Just want the best for you. That's all. There's nothing. Not trying to tell you how to live. Just want you to be safe and want you to be able to make it back to the show, and let's keep doing what we do.
Oh yeah, have to.
Well, let me ask you this: do I have a guest somewhere out there?
I think you do. Yeah. Do you want to bring him in?
Yeah, let me bring in my guest, man.
Ready to go.
Is that Mr. Johnson?
What's going on, big guy?
Hey, Chris, man, thank you so much. Welcome to the show, man. Hey, listen, let me tell y'all something about this man before I give him an opportunity to tell you himself. This man right here is one of the most patient men I've ever met, because I'm gonna tell you. Let me explain myself first. he gonna tell you the truth. Chris is him and Michael Hunter are very, very instrumental in me having 2 books out right now, and these books are like available wherever you can buy books, Amazon, whatever, Barnes and Noble. But the process of writing a book is not my skill set. But this man, he made it easier for me, and that's saying something, because I'm not the easiest person to deal with. And I mean, it's a lot of back and forth. And Chris, you're in California, right?
Man, I tried to get home, but it's raining. It's flooding everywhere, so I had to pull over so I could do the interview. It's raining like cats and dogs out here.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Where
it's
are
bad.
you?
It's bad. I'm in L.A.
Oh, you're in L.A. right now.
Yeah. I'm in North Hollywood right now trying to head home, but I just had to pull over. The traffic is like bumper to bumper.
Wow. Well, hey, man, I'm sorry to stop you in the traffic like that.
Nah,
but
this is better. This is better. You come first. I don't mind talking to you.
Well, I appreciate you, man. But Chris, where'd you grow up, man?
I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, born and raised.
Oh, okay, and you grew up there, and then went off to college?
Well, I ran I was a track runner, actually. I like to say star, but I have to check myself because I wasn't a star with everybody. I like to say I was a track star. But I did go to college to run.
You're going to say you're a track star, Chris.
Yeah, I did. So I went to Lincoln University, HBCU in Missouri. After Missouri, I tried to, go after those track dreams of making it to the Olympics. So I moved to Miami to train year round and get ready for the Olympic trials. And then I ended up moving to LA to train and get closer to and be closer to the Olympic trials. And unfortunately, I blew my knee out with an attempt for at the NFL. So that ruined the career. And I ended up going back to school and picking up the gift that I always had. I was a published author at 18. So I picked up that gift and just started writing again.
So when you finished school, is that what you finished school for?
No, I actually was in school for broadcast and journalism, but on the marketing side. I like to get into psychology, which is what my PhD is in. But I like to get into psychology of the buyer and understand why people buy things and how to advertise and stuff like that. So that was my undergrad. And then I went back to school for my master's and then my eventually my PhD in neuroscience to understand human interaction.
Dude, you know what? Hats off to you for doing that.
That's why I was able to write a book with you, because I understand.
Yeah, man, I knew it was something special about you. I just didn't know what it was, but I was like, this dude is real patient. Because I'm like, nah, Chris, I don't understand that, man. Let's do this. And you would say, okay, even if I was wrong, you would like, okay, and then you would walk me through it to where I'd understand it. Man, that's an impressive skill set, because everybody can't do that, especially in today's society.
Well, man, I like to look at it this way. I have no ego. Now, mind you, on the track, oh, I got an ego. On the golf course, I got an ego. But when you have a gift, you can't have an ego with your gift, because it's a gift. And my gift, you already know me. I can turn 20 pages of notes into a 270-page book in 72 hours with one nap. That's just a gift, And so I can't have an ego with my gift. Secondly, there's so many people that have great stories that can change some other people's lives, but they don't have the know-how, or they get stagnant not knowing where to start. So that's where my company comes into play, because I mean, like, even when your first book came out, man, the joy you had on your face and the video you made thanking me, my mother plays that video like once a month at least. So it's like, dude, like, that moment is why I do what I do. To see the joy on people's faces when they see their story in the hands, and it's in a book. Like, that just means so much to me, to see that joy. And so that's why I do it. And that's why it's easy to deal with people, because at the end of the day, it's their story. It's not my way, it's your way, but it's also the way of the story. And I just want to get the story out to people that need to be helped.
Well, I'll say this, Chris, man. I mean, you basically, you got me with 2 books.
You know, we got one more waiting. You know, we got one more waiting.
You know what? I got
the file. I got the file.
You know what? I know that that's true, because you told me that. It's on me. I can't even say, I can't deny it, because you did present it to me. I just been so busy doing these other things that I haven't even looked at it. But we will definitely visit that at some point. I promise you.
All I got to say, man, is your journey has so much meat on the bone. Like, dude, the documentary is beautiful that I watched, but also the books, man, you got so much meat on the bone left of your story that it's just amazing. Like, even when I pick up your book, just, you know, reminiscing, it's like, it's so much more there, like, because you've been through so much, and look at you every day doing something positive. Like, come on, man. Like, it's so much there that, dude, you could probably write 10 books. I got one more in me for you, but you probably can write 10 though. You got so much good information, man.
Well, see, you know, and Chris, that was a hard part for me, which I got to thank you for helping me understand that, because I guess I look at it from such a different perspective. I always think like, well, you know, it's my story and it's a good story, but dude, when you, like you said, when you've got as much as I've got and been through as much as I've been through, it's almost like nobody wants to, you know, hear all of that, you know, and that's what I was struggling with.
Right. You know, but now you do know people want to hear it though. Now you know that though.
Well, I'm starting to feel it a lot more now, because I've had people ask me, "Hey man, you gonna do another book?" I'm like, man, at some point, But like I say, that's something you and I are going to have to sit down and talk about it at some point. I won't forget, Chris. I promise.
Hey, you know I stay loaded and ready. Whenever you ready. Whenever you ready. It's just the fact that, I mean, I just love watching your videos. Like, my thing is this, knowing you intimately like I do, and looking at some of the dark corners you've been around, the fact that you still can smile every day, bro, that's a story in itself. Like, come on, man. Like, dude, that's amazing.
It's funny that you say that, because a lot of people are like, man, just like I said earlier, man, how can every day be another day in paradise? I'll be like, dude, this is me.
Amazing.
I'm not saying my life is perfect. I'm just saying this is, when I look at where I've been and I look at where I'm at, I can find joy in that.
Amen. I agree, man.
So, you know, that's just, I don't know, man. That's just who I am. And, you know, I will say this, though. I had at this event that we were at yesterday at 88 Tactical, where we showed the documentary to a group of people. I got real emotional, dude. And it was my story. You know what I mean? Yep. I know everything about my story, and I still got emotional. I could not believe it. And I was a little embarrassed, because, you know, I want to play this tough guy deal, you know what I mean? But, man, I mean, I was tearing up, dude. Looking at my own story.
Ricky, those of us that know you ain't nothing but full of love and happiness, man. That tough exterior don't do nothing to us. We ain't scared. You ain't nothing but love and happiness, man. I'm not playing with you. But no, you deserve to get your flowers, though, man. Like, think about that journey when I met you to write your book to where we are now. Dude, you have really, really tried your hardest to get your story out in every form. And look at you, man. We at the finish line looking back at the race we done ran, and I love it. I love it, man.
Well, man, I can't thank you enough for everything.
No, man.
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest with you, Chris, I want you to stay with us for a little bit. Since you're stuck in the rain, would you mind staying with us for a little bit, man?
Yeah, I got nowhere to go, man.
Well, yeah, Chris, tell us some of the stuff you've done. Just share with the people what you've done, man. I mean, because you've done a lot too. It's not I mean, you just blessed me, but I'd like to know myself some of the accomplishments you've had.
Yeah, man. Well, I was a humble athlete back in the day, and my mom just had me in all kind of stuff. So fortunately, I spent some time with the Kansas City Star, and was selected as a writer out of like 50 young writers. And
Mm-hmm.
my first article was Kwanzaa in December 2000. I mean, to December 1995. So I
Wow.
was a published author in 1995, man, and it was all glory to God, man, because I didn't know the path He was setting out for me. You know, I was trying to be an athlete. I mean, I'm
Mm-hmm.
6'3", 6'4", 200 pounds. So, guys like us, we bred to be athletes and they don't see you doing nothing else. But I always had a knack for science. Like I won a couple of science fairs, in seventh grade when most people are doing a science project about lava and using sodium and stuff to make lava come out of a paper mache volcano. I actually created my own filter
Wow.
to blow clean smoke. I mean, to blow smoke and make it clean air. So I did that in seventh grade. So like I always was on the intelligence side, but I just focused on athletics. I finished high school a year early, but didn't really jump into that. I just wanted to play sports. But after sports ran its course, man, I just got a hold of this academic bug, man, and just went all the way in, man, to get a double doctorate and just try to understand every part of how I can get the best out of my life. Because I knew I was called for something. I was trained to be an athlete, but when I blew my knee out, I really went into a depression. Like, what am I supposed to do? All this time I thought I was supposed to be an athlete. And when you actually find your purpose, it's one of the best days on this earth. So
So
that's
say
how I
this
just
again.
started.
I was listening to you, but tell me exactly how much education do you really have at
I
this
have
point?
a doctorate in theology and a doctorate in neuroscience with human interaction as a focus.
Wow,
Yeah,
dude.
and I own my own science. Actually, it's going to be coming out hopefully here in the next couple of years. I created a science on neurological love. The scientific term and also the thesis was what happens when humans interact and produce the love effect in the brain. So I mean, this textbook that I wrote, I think I showed you the textbook. I don't
Yeah,
remember, but
yeah, that one that looked like
yeah, it's
a
700
dictionary.
pages. Yeah,
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 I
yeah.
saw.
That's my
Wow,
first textbook. Yeah, man, it's 700
wow.
pages. Yeah, so I'm hoping that we get that. I don't want to say I hope. I know I'm gonna win the Nobel for it, but I also can't wait to get it in universities and to be a prerequisite for family studies. So yeah, man, I've been a writer for 20 plus 2+ decades, and just out here trying to make the world a better place, man. And I love writing. It's easy to find a story. So that's what I've been doing, man. I've written 50 books, 25 of my own and 25 for others. I
Hmm.
have a publishing company called CBJ Publishing that you're a part of, where I help busy people like yourself or busy executives write books that don't have the time to write them.
Hmm.
So living in LA, being in the writers network out here, I realized that everybody out here trying to write a story, normally they trying to take it to film or trying to, monetize it. But there's so many people that have stories in the Midwest, Southeast region, Northeast region, and they don't have access to Hollywood yet. They have Hollywood stories. So that's why I
Wow.
love reaching back and helping people write their stories. And hopefully one day it can be submitted for a documentary or a film like yours.
Well, you know what? I have no doubt that that's going to happen for you, man, because you're a very sharp guy. And like I
I
say,
appreciate it.
I think the thing that I'm most impressed with is your patience.
Yeah.
You know,
I,
patience is man. That's. I mean, they say it's a virtue.
it
I
is.
agree with that because if you don't have it, the communication is completely gone.
Well, you know what I also see, man, is when it comes to patience, is I also see the fact that when it comes to understanding somebody, it's understanding their frustration. Because
Okay.
normally when somebody's frustrated, it normally has nothing to do with the people involved. It has to do with something internally. So something that I get a joy out of is helping people see why they're frustrated. Where's the frustration at? How can we fix it? And so, like you already know some of the chapters I wrote, I sent them to you like, nah, that ain't what I'm trying to say. I like, all right. I'll go back and rewrite it. I'll
Yeah.
go back. But at the end of the day, the point is seeing where you were frustrated to where it made you say, that ain't what I want to say. But then finding, I guess I can say the feeling of hearing you say, that's exactly what I wanted to say. That
Yeah.
joy trumps anything else. So that's why patience is just easy for me, man. Because, it's just helping somebody realize that they got something good and we're going to get to the finish line regardless of how we get there.
Well, look here, Chris. Don't go nowhere, man. We're
No
gonna take
doubt.
a quick break. This is your host, Ricky C. Simmons on 93.7 The Ticket to get your happy on hour. Y'all stay with me. We'll be right back.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
I grew up hearing that women are bad with money, but like many of you, I spent years paying bills, managing checking accounts, and taking care of my family. So turns out women are pretty good with money after all. And now I'm taking control of my financial future by saving for retirement. It's never too late to start, and there's a great website to help you. Check out WeSaySaveIt.org and jumpstart your retirement savings on your budget and your timeline. That's WeSaySaveIt.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
I think it's just vapor.
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous.
5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
What happens when students come to school every day on time and ready to learn? They improve academically, become more responsible, manage their time well, and learn the value of education. Whether your child is starting preschool or preparing to graduate, family support and a great attitude towards education is important. Help your child come to school every day ready to learn. Make this the best school year yet.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is, my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately, in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakovic, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
I wanted to quit for so long, but I didn't know where to start.
I was afraid of what people would think, but then I found the right support to start my recovery journey. 1 in 14 Americans reports experiencing a substance use disorder, a treatable medical condition. Treatment can take many forms, so there are a variety of options to explore and find the one that works best for you. Recovery from drug addiction is possible.
Paid for by the CDC, sponsored by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job?
Not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
Back to the Get Your Happy On Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, we back, man. 93.7 The Ticket to Get You Happy On Our show. Man, we back. And I'm getting my happy on. Y'all know I can't dance, but that don't matter. In my mind, I'm dancing. And you can't tell me I ain't dancing. Hey, well, look here, Chris. I got Chris back with us.
Yep, I'm right here with you, big guy.
Hey, man, look here. I gotta ask a question that's kind of a little off topic, but I gotta ask it, man.
Go ahead.
Man, baseball fan, I've been seeing a lot of Kansas City Chiefs, Royals stuff. What's up with that, man?
You know I'm a diehard Kansas City Royals fan. Now I don't like the Chiefs, but I'm a diehard Royals fan.
Oh, you don't like the Chiefs, but you like the Royals.
Man, I've been a baseball fan since '82. I can remember being like, I think I was like 3 or 4 years old, and my mom gave me like $10 to buy a friend a birthday gift for their birthday party.
Yeah.
I spent $8 on a Kansas City Royals baseball glove and got her like a $2 gift. That's how much of a fan I am.
Man, that's cool.
I don't like the Chiefs fans because, man, we literally probably like maybe 100, 200 feet away from each other. And the Chiefs fans don't support the Royals fans like we do.
Really?
Like, come on, man. We need fans to be over there just like they for the Chiefs, be over there for the Royals. And not in y'all Chiefs gear. Be over there in Royals gear. Sorry. You touched a soft subject.
I got you. Well, I've seen you a couple of times on social media, man. You threw out the first pitch and you seem like you have quite a good relationship with a lot of the Royals, man. So
yeah,
I just noticed that, and I never got to ask you about that. I was just kind of curious.
Yeah, man. When you pay for season tickets, you get a lot of benefits.
Oh, you're doing it like that.
Well, I was, but that was pre-pandemic.
Oh, gotcha. Well, let me ask you this: now, being in the LA area, what about NBA?
Well, I've always been a Laker fan. That was one of the easiest moves for me to make when I moved to LA. I was always a Laker fan. So, I moved to LA sight unseen. But when you know this, when you're an athlete, you move where they tell you to go. So luckily, it just happened to be LA, and I love the Lakers. I'm a little sad right now. I love LeBron. He's a great human being. He's a great father and a great man. But unfortunately, Jeannie Buss, went against Kobe's will, and Kobe said never trade. He said don't trade all the young talent because you don't want to see them mature and they're not on your team. And basically, we got rid of all of our young talent to bring LeBron in for one championship, and we're a little sad out here. We're a little depleted, a little defeated, but
Well, actually, I'm a Laker fan as well. So, I've always been a Laker fan. Since before Magic.
Right.
I just like the Lakers. It was something about their upbeat, that Showtime. It caught my attention, and I've always been very, very loyal to them.
Yeah, diehard Laker fan.
Yeah. However, I am a little taken back right now because I'm not used to seeing that part of it. But I guess it'll get better.
We went for the money, man.
Well, now football-wise, who's your team?
Oh man, I really don't have a team, man. I never really was a football dude except when I tried out, but I don't know, man. Like Kansas City, like I'm not. I shouldn't say this story, man, but because you in the Midwest and there's probably a bunch of Chiefs fans listening.
Hey, say it, man. Say it.
So I finished high school a year early, right? So my senior year, when I was supposed to be in school, I worked at Social Security Administration, right? So I wrote for the Kansas City Star. as a 17-year-old, and I had a job as a 17-year-old for Social Security Administration. So I would get to work at like 5 a.m. and work till about 12 o'clock, go get some breakfast, and then go play sports. But the sad thing is, I remember, I think the Chiefs had to be maybe 15-1 or 14-2. It was like one of their best seasons ever. It's like 1995. And I remember so many people betting on them to go to the Super Bowl. And I think that was the year the Chiefs lost in the first round. And so many people were so sad. And I'll never forget this. It's one of the reasons why I think Chiefs fans need to calm down. But I get to work, right?
Yeah.
Dude, they sent a grief counselor around to every office. I'm not lying. I'm not making this up.
At work?
At Social Security Administration, downtown Kansas City, they sent a grief counselor and said, if anybody needs to talk, you can come to this office, blah, 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 because so many people had bet money on the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl. And for them to lose the first game, it messed a lot of people up. So when I seen that a team had that much effect, because the grief counselor around, I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. That is a real story. Look up this story. I'm telling you, they lost in the first round. They were set to go to the Super Bowl. They sent grief counselors around. I said, nah, I'm good.
I mean, it's not funny because I understand everybody.
Nah, it's funny. The Chiefs suck. I'm sorry. That's funny. That's funny.
Hey, I gotta take a second here and say big shout out to Rebecca Keys, man. I appreciate you coming and showing love at the event. That was real big. You didn't have to do that. I think she drove over an hour to get there each way. I mean, an hour over, an hour back. I mean, I appreciate that. I see Scott's tuned in too. Hey, Scott, you know I'm gonna come see you the first chance I get, man. I appreciate you listening to the show as well, and we're gonna try to keep this thing going, man. So I had to give shout out to those two right there, right quick, just to let them know that I appreciate, because I take nothing for granted. You know, I think it's important to acknowledge people, especially when people go out of their way to try to make things better by just being nice.
Right.
You know, that's kind of a lost art now. It's kind of like fits in that box with common sense not being common.
Right.
But that's just my opinion. Back to you, Chris. Man, what's next for Chris, though?
Well, right now, you know, still helping people write their books. We're
Okay.
in first quarter. So I normally only carry about 3 clients a quarter.
Okay.
Because in the middle of me fine-tuning my science and laboratory work and research, I spend time writing books for others as I'm writing, because it helps me keep my brain sharp. So probably going to get a couple of more books out this first quarter and second quarter. And we're in the waiting for the lecture tour. We're in the last stage of funding to take it to proof of concept. A lot of people don't understand all that you have to go through to get a science approved. So you have to go through so many different things to prove the concept, prove this. And so we're in the last stage of funding for the last step, and that is a nationwide lecture tour called An Evening with Christopher Johnson and the Classroom of Love. It's going to be something this world's never seen. And we're just right there. We're close, man. We're right there, man. We're right there. So hopefully this year or next year, we'll be going to our last stage with proof of concept and doing the lecture tour.
How long have you been working on that?
I got the copyright in 2014. I've been working on it for a decade. The first lecture I did was in 2010, and they came at me. A lot of people don't know this. My third book, Hang Up the Phone, The Guide to Getting Over Your Ex in 30 Days. I was in the middle, like my first year going after my PhD, and I did something very different in psychology. Normally in psychology, they'll have you write a letter to the person that harmed you and then mail it or throw it away. With me, I had people write a letter to love. And that was something groundbreaking that hadn't been done before, to talk about how love may have hurt you, blah, blah, blah. And then people started coming at me like, yo, you got to do a lecture. So I started then, and then that's when I knew it was a need for it. So that's when I started, you know, pursuing the PhD so I can actually create the science and try to change this world when it comes to love. And we've been working on it for a decade now. A decade.
Wow. Man, congrats on that, man, because that's a lot of work, dude.
A lot of work, man.
Yeah, you know, and that's the part that a lot of people don't see. They only see the finished product.
They don't see the hustle, man.
Yeah, they don't see the grind. I mean,
they don't see it.
Man, 10 years. Well, look, I noticed you be on this golf course a little bit too, man. What's up with that, man?
Man, I try to get everything done by 11 o'clock so I get to the golf course by 11:30.
Are you good, Chris, or you just out there like me just playing?
All I'm going to say is this. anybody that wants to put up some type of monetary wager, we can discuss it. I don't say my handicap or nothing. I just say, hey, if you're feeling that strong about your game, invite me up and we can have a discussion.
We have to have a sit down and see what's happening. Huh?
We will be friends afterwards though, but it has to be a nice size wager though.
I got you.
I play with Shrek signs though, so since I play with Shrek signs, somebody already sees me with Shrek signs. They're like, nah, he can play. We ain't out there with Wilsons and stuff.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm not very good at it, but I love the game. I think it's
man. I heard you can play, man. Stop it.
No, I mean I know how to play. I don't think they're gonna be inviting me to Georgia no time soon. I don't think I'll be trying to get no green jacket. But what I will say is this: the reasons why I play in a lot of tournaments to like charitable tournaments,
right?
Or raise money for like we go to Tulsa twice a year. We go down and we raise money for the Children's Hospital. I like doing stuff like that because to me, whether I win or lose on the course, we raising money for a great cause.
Now,
so
that's
it's
the
a
best
win-win
part
for me.
Yeah, that's the best part.
Yeah, and so in that respect, but I love the game itself. It's kind of like, for me, golf is like, if it's a such thing as pushing a pause button on life, the golf course does that for me. I mean, I can go out there, when I cut my car off and get my clubs out, it's like pause.
Hey, I like that.
Yeah, then I play 18 holes, however long it takes, fine. And then when I get back to the car and start the car, the pause button comes back on and it comes off and life goes on. So
100%.
Yeah, I that's how I look at it. Well, Chris, I got to ask you another question, but this one is basically, this is for everybody that's listening. I mean, I had no clue of how to write a book. Let's just get that out. And you and Michael Hunter, between the two of you, y'all basically walked me through the whole process. How, if someone is inspired to write a book that may be challenged like I was, how do they reach out to you?
Well, the number one thing you can do is go to my Instagram. My Instagram is Dr. D-O-C-T-O-R Chris, C-H-R-I-S Johnson. Go to my Instagram, reach out. I'll definitely try to help you out and see if I can be a help to you. But I really want everybody to understand this. I love doing it, and there's not many companies like mine that won't charge you a huge fee. But just start somewhere. So many people have so many ideas and so many thoughts, and then emotions are involved and all that. My thing I tell all my authors is to start off with a table of contents. Come up with 20 titles that you feel you can speak to with your story, and then just start from there. But if you do need somebody like me, like I said, because anybody listening, this is just between us and your friends, right? Anybody listening, because y'all know Ricky, y'all can reach out to me on my Instagram. And only because y'all know him. If y'all don't know him, then I can't help you. But since y'all know Ricky, and that's my guy, y'all can reach out. Once again, my Instagram is Dr. spelled out Chris Johnson. And reach out to me on Instagram. And I definitely like to teach all my authors the right way to do business. So that's why a lot of people don't understand. When I first talk to somebody, I tell them, don't tell me anything until we get an NDA, because it's very important for you to start off professional as a writer. Anybody can write, but can you make it a business, which is something you did very well for yourself. You made your books into a business. So I always want people to understand that.
I can also attest to this. You definitely told me, stop, don't say nothing.
Yep.
I'll send you NDA and then we'll talk.
Yeah. So because I want to protect my writers. So many people don't understand. Nowadays, with the monetization of like lives, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, like your story can easily be diluted by somebody else using it. But that's why I tell people, be quiet, wait till you find the right person that can help you. And anybody trying to help you write a book, any company, because there are companies all over this country that do it. But anybody trying to help you, if they don't offer you an NDA first, if they tell you, yo, tell me your story, them the wrong people. You have to protect your story, because you are the person that we're investing in. I can help you put the words on the page, but it's your story we're investing in, and we have to protect you from beginning to end. So that's why I try to teach people the right way to write books.
It's funny because ever since I've gotten these books out, I get 1,000 calls. Hey, we saw your book on such and such. we have a idea, or we have a suggestion on how you can monetize. I mean, they got all these great ideas, and I ain't going for that, man. Especially
I
if
tried
don't
to be
know
the
you.
buffer for you for a little bit, but you got
Yeah,
too big.
no,
you got
you
too
good,
big.
you
Now
good.
you started following you everywhere, bro. I tried to be the buffer, but you were everywhere about your book. So people were like, oh yeah, we gonna get him. Yeah, see, that's also the bad side too. Y'all got to be careful, man.
Hey, listen, this is 93.7 The Ticket. We about to take one more break, and then we'll be right back. Hang in there with me just a little bit longer, Chris.
All right, man.
Okay, y'all, we'll be right back.
My name is Rebecca. I struggled with depression for years. I also smoked. That was my world. Finally, I realized that smoking wasn't helping me. It was making my life worse. So I took control and I quit. Now I'm able to run again and take walks with my grandkids. My tip is there's another world out there, and it's a beautiful place to be.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse? Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph, when blam, ran right into the side of the saloon. Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Veterans, do you know what local, state, and federal benefits and services you're eligible to receive? Do you want help navigating the application or appeals process? Speak to your county veteran service officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. You've served our country, now let us serve you. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
If you're talking, they will hear you.
Why are we getting killed like this?
Kyle's not here. Got caught drinking beer in the park a couple of nights ago.
Really?
Yeah, 0 tolerance. He's out for the season.
Harsh.
Hey, he knew not to drink. We've made that clear to all of our kids, right?
No, not really.
Bill, if we don't tell them what we expect and why they shouldn't drink, how are they going to know?
Sponsored by SAMHSA and Nebraska DHHS. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for youth.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs.
And dangerous things like metals into your body.
And nicotine, which can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s.
With appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social media.
Many kids think vaping is harmless, but it's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping.
Sponsored by SAMHSA and Nebraska DHHS. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you want to come and text us.
If you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
this is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action. Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
A smoke-free environment is the only way to fully protect from the dangers of secondhand smoke. That's why smoke-free policies are so important to me. Whether it's in my car, apartment building, or when I'm dining outdoors, there's no place for secondhand smoke or e-cigarette aerosol. Breathe easier knowing the facts. Visit smokefree.ne.gov. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to the Get Your Happy On Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, we back. We got a little time left before we wrap this thing up. You know, I'm just very, very honored, man, to have Chris pull over in the traffic on the side of the road in the rain to do this show, man. That's big, man. You don't know how much I appreciate that, because I know that there's much different places you'd rather be.
Nah, I don't want to hear that. That's how important you are. I don't want to hear that. I will pull
Okay,
up
well,
anyway.
you know what? I'm gonna take that as a compliment. So,
No, man, you important, man. No, I would definitely pull
Chris.
up.
Well, I appreciate you, Chris, and I just want you to know, man, that the feelings are mutual. I appreciate you as well, man, and I got this thing about, you know, this show that I do. I only want to really interview good people. I don't, you know, and I'm not trying to be funny when I say that. I'm not trying to be negative at all, because that ain't what I do. But people that don't want to be positive and don't want to be productive, this is not a show that I'm going to ask you to be on, you know? I mean, I think there's other platforms for that. So I ain't trying to feed, you know, it's kind of like that old theory, if you don't feed it, it can't grow.
Right.
You know, I'm not feeding that, you know.
That's one of the things you wrote in your book, 365 Days. I'm telling you,
Yes.
man, that's one of the things I live by, man. I protect my happiness and peace. And I learned
Yeah.
that from you.
Well, I appreciate it, but you know what? Speaking of the two books, man, dude, you did some amazing artwork too for them covers.
Yeah.
I got to give you your props on that. You
Man,
know,
I
'cause
love that. I love that.
Yeah, I don't know if any of you guys out there have ever seen my book covers, but 365 Days of Redemption and the Explosion of Redemption. Man, y'all need to pull that up and just look at it. I mean, this dude does amazing work. And you know, a lot of times when people do amazing work, they don't necessarily get the credit I think they deserve. You know, I mean,
that.
but when you do something bad, there's always a camera for that. So as you say, I'm gonna give you your flowers while you're here.
I appreciate that, my guy, for sure.
Yeah, so you keep doing your thing. But one more time before I let you go, Chris, I need you to tell people again how they can reach out to you, man.
You can reach out to me on my Instagram, Dr. DOCTOR Chris Johnson, all together. You know how Instagram is. So Dr. Chris Johnson. And just hit me up, man. I already got a couple of people hitting me up in the inbox right now. They call it the DMs because they're friends of yours, man. Anybody. And my thing is this. Yes, there's a monetary attachment to someone ghostwriting for someone, but dude, I love just helping anybody. So even if I can't help you write your book, if you just got a question, should I do this or should I do that? I'm going to try my hardest to answer it, because everybody needs to write a book. Let me make that very clear. All of us have lived in different stories and different struggles and different portions of life that somebody else may not have lived in. And the best way for us to understand each other is to put our stories out there. The more you put your stories out there, the more we can understand each other and come together with a collective understanding that we all are living in this human experience.
Chris, I'm going to say this, man. You have done something for me that I can never really totally pay you for. I mean, because my books are going to live long after I'm gone.
Long after you're gone, man, they're going to know about you.
And that's the thing that's very important to me, because, you know, and I know that, like, a lot of, you know, when people have their final services, there's always one or two people want to get up and tell things about you.
Right.
And they're all emotional, or they don't know all the facts.
Right.
They just know bits and pieces. But when you put it in a book, you don't even have to do that. You can say, man, you want to know about that dude? Go read his books, his documentary. You know what I mean? There are you're given something that will last a lifetime, man. And I just want to say thank you for what you've done for me. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. I have trust issues. Really, I do. I don't trust everybody, but
That's
trust.
the first thing you said to me, dude, when we first met.
It's the truth, man. I'd rather tell you the truth and lose you than lie and try and keep you, dude. I mean, it's like, dude, I got trust issues, and I want everybody to know, man, I trust you, man, and I can't thank you enough again for being on the show. We're gonna wrap this thing up, but hey, Chris, I'll be in touch with you on that next book, okay?
You know the people want it. I'm waiting to hear from you.
Hey, I'm gonna be in touch with you. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to 93.7 The Ticket, to Get You Happy on our show. I'm your host, Ricky C. Simmons, and hey, every day you blessed to see, get your happy on. Ow!
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, wanting to say Happy New Year and thank you to all of you for your continued support. We have just closed out another outstanding year, and we want to start 2023 off with a bang. The new GMC and Chevrolet inventory continues to roll in, and I'll actually be picking up my 2023 GMC